My name is Guy Itauma. Moses Itauma. I think he's a great fighter. The young, 20 years, yeah?
And that's why you got to watch it and find out. But one thing I will say about Moses is he's a very good fighter, good little boxer, good puncher, and a lovely kid as well. It's like a sponge.
Why are you taking this fight? Because this kid is on fire right now, and he's getting better and better. It's not like he's going backwards; he's going forward.
Boxers are beginning to speak out about just how intimidating Moses Itauma is inside the ring. Tyson Fury recently applauded the 20-year-old for his remarkable strength, laser-sharp focus, and serious work ethic. He pointed out that Moses is a quick learner who listens closely and delivers punches with purpose. Taking on someone like Dillian Whyte at this stage in his career shows not just bravery, but raw skill. The boxing world isn't just labeling Moses as a rising prospect. They see him as a legitimate threat. Top-tier heavyweights are already acknowledging his growing presence.
That's a good fight, actually, especially for Moses. I think it's a very good time to fight Dillian. He's had a couple of years out the ring. But, make no mistakes, Dillian Whyte is a massive puncher. It's a head and body. I know he's taking it very serious. I'm speaking to Ty Mitchell, who's in training camp with him. And looking forward to the fight. It's a big step up for Moses because he hasn't really fought anybody on Dillian's level. The old Dillian, it was a couple of years ago. And it's going to be interesting to see how much that Dillian Whyte has left. And could this be potential? I think it does have the potential to do what Martin McCauley did to Jared Anderson. Maybe it's too early, or maybe he passes with flying colours. And that's why you got to watch it and find out. But one thing I will say about Moses is he's a very good fighter, good little boxer, good puncher, and a lovely kid as well. It's like a sponge. You tell him something, he absorbs it and he listens. And that's the great thing about the young kids who's coming up. And he's only 20 years old. I told him a few years ago, forget about breaking records, take your time, you've only got one career, and just enjoy it because I remember when I was 19, 20, and now 36 has gone like that, very quick.
Alexander Usyk, widely regarded as one of the most technically refined boxers today, shared glowing praise for Moses Itauma. During a recent sit-down, Usyk referred to the young heavyweight as both powerful and wise beyond his years. Coming from a unified champion who's gone toe-to-toe with the sports elite, this compliment carries genuine significance. The fact that a fighter of Usyk's stature is impressed with Moses at only 20 underscores the kind of impact he's making. Usyk's endorsement goes beyond brute force. It highlights Moses's ring intelligence and quiet intensity.
My name is Guy Itauma. Moses Itauma. I think he's a great fighter. The young, 20 years, yeah?
20.
Yeah, 20 years. I think Itauma have big future.
Moses Itauma's trainer opened up about a unique aspect of the young fighter, his deep appreciation for boxing history. Much like Mike Tyson, Moses doesn't just study modern competition, he dives into the past. He reads biographies, watches classic footage, and dissects the styles of legends who paved the way. This thirst for knowledge separates him from others, his age, many of whom only focus on the next opponent. Moses's drive to master the mental, emotional, and physical sides of the sport gives him a rare depth. It's this dedication that makes his mindset so mature for someone just 20 years old.
I think probably the biggest comparison I would say is how Mike Tyson loved the game, would always study fighters of the past, etc. Moses has that same love for it.
Does he?
Yeah, like we'll send him his sparring at 2 a.m. He'll be texting us clips like, is this more what you want?
He's a student.
Yeah, he absolutely loves it. And that's that, along with his maturity at his age.
Very composed, isn't he? Very composed. Yeah.
That is what is allowing him to achieve what he's achieving at such a young age.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of talented fighters out there, but not many that
can execute it on the back of it, yeah.
It's becoming more common to hear people liken Moses Itauma to a young Mike Tyson. With his relentless approach, explosive power shots, and calm demeanor under pressure, many believe he's capable of clinching a world championship before hitting 21. That would be an incredible feat, considering how seldom fighters his age even get the opportunity. His physical attributes, sharp reflexes, and boldness remind longtime fans of Tyson's early knockout runs. While such comparisons can be a heavy burden, Moses isn't distracted. He's He's locked in on delivering performances, not feeding the hype.
Is Moses Itauma being babied? Jared Anderson had better opposition in his first 12 fights than Moses Itauma. Guaranteed without a doubt. Guaranteed without a doubt. He had better opposition. But Jared gets criticized. And, you know, here we have a guy like Moses being called potentially the next Mike Tyson. They believe he can win a world title under 21 years old.
Moses Itauma's rise didn't just come out of nowhere. By the time he was 18, many insiders had already noticed how polished and tactically smart he was. With a deep amateur background, he built experience that shaped his calm and calculated style. His crisp footwork, defensive instincts, and smooth combinations hinted at someone who belonged on the pro stage well before he turned pro. That early commitment paid off. While most boxers need time to find their rhythm in the professional ranks, Moses stepped in looking like he was already part of the elite class.
Someone so young, to be as athletic as he is, look as polished as he is. Bear in mind, I interviewed Moses Itauma before his pro debut, and one of the questions I really wanted to ask him was how many amateur fights he'd had. For someone who looked so polished and was turning pro so young, bear in mind he'd only just turned 18 at the time. Right, this is 2 years ago, nearly 3 years ago now. I really wanted to know how many amateur fights he had to look as polished as he did. And in that interview, he told me it was something like 22, 23 amateur fights, which is really, it's quite a low amount. It was a bit of a kind of land when he said it. I remember at the time thinking, huh? And then obviously you're interviewing, so you want to try and get the next question. You don't want to be just stopped in your tracks, but it genuinely nearly did stop me in my tracks, given how polished he looked and how good he looked. You know, I was thinking, yikes, that's actually a bit of a strange one for someone to look that polished in such short of a time. And he's obviously been fighting good amateurs, and obviously he's not one of these amateurs like Anthony Yard, no offense, who had 10 amateur fight against low level, probably wasn't doing a great deal of sparring, but just had that natural ability. All right, just had it.
Veteran heavyweight Derek Chisora didn't hold back when discussing Dillian Whyte's decision to fight Moses Itauma. He openly questioned why Dillian would take on such a dangerous challenge, especially after time away from the sport. Meanwhile, Moses continues to sharpen his technique and gain momentum with each training camp. At only 20, he's developing rapidly, and Chisora stressed that his age is deceiving because Moses carries real power and hunger. His comments weren't just about Dillian's readiness, they were a warning. When respected veterans start expressing concern, you know the threat is legitimate.
I had a phone call a couple of weeks ago. They offered me to fight Moses Itauma in Saudi. You know, I said, how much? He said, $2 million. I said, nah, I'm out. I even phoned Dylan, like, Dylan, I don't know why you're taking this fight, you know, because this kid is on fire right now. And he's getting better and better. It's not like he's going backwards, he's going forward.
One of the reasons he is taking it is that Moses is WBO #1 at the moment, so that there's some kind of light at the end of the tunnel for Dillian taking that fight.
Ain't no light at the end of that tunnel.
I agree with you. I think I don't think Dillian gets beyond 4 or 5 rounds.
You're crazy. Yeah. There's no light at that tunnel. That kid is, no, you mad. No way. Even Lawrence Okoli said Moses is bad.